What is your mindset in terms of when you're trying to invest, trying to grow your net worth? Are you someone who has some form of cash buffer? Maybe not just money in the bank, but in something that is liquid enough in case you needed it. I've always said like at least a 3 to 6 month cash buffer before you start to really elevate your risk in what you're doing. What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting you asked me that because I've been thinking about it quite a bit lately. I've hit a different financial bracket over the last couple of years. So I begin to think about inflation. I begin to think about the debasement of my money. Because when you're sitting on $50,000, you're not really thinking about it. When you're sitting on tens of millions and you're like, oh shit, my purchasing power is down 600 grand this year. What am I going to do about it? You begin to think differently. And now imagine you're a billionaire and they're telling you that inflation is 8%. And you're like, okay, well, what do I store my money in? Because we need to understand what money is. We talked about money is just a transfer of basically energy. You had to labor for your thing. I had to labor for mine. And it's a bartering system of energy. Money is just a transfer of energy. But money is not just a transfer of energy. It also used to be a store of energy and a store of value. However, after gold was ripped off from the dollar and the gold standard was removed, saving became impossible. Prior to that, if it was 1890 and you were working at the factory, making a couple $1,000s a year, in 2 years you could buy a home and you could actually save because there was no printing of more money. Today, you can't save dollars because they are printing them. So what you're seeing is very much what took place in the Weimar Republic of Germany in World War II, which was gambling was rampant, prostitution was rampant, speculation was rampant. Why? Because people had to find where they could grow and store their value. The difference between Weimar Republic, World War II in Germany, and the society that we live in today is that we have an alibi. We have an out, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the ultimate store of value in the world, more than gold. Why? Well, number one, how much gold exists? Do you know? How much gold emerges out of the ground and gets mined and licensed and tracked and serial number stamped every single year? Do you know? Okay. So you don't even know the supply of this thing that they told you is a store of value. Okay. Well, okay, but people can still use it. Okay, I understand. Well, what can be a store of value? Well, we need to find how to do what? Transfer the purchasing power of today into the future. That is the name of saving. Your ability to spend in the future what you currently have. But you can't spend in the future what you currently have if they're slowly stealing it from you via inflation. So you need to store it in a different asset. So you store it in an asset that is finite. What is a finite asset that requires real energy in order to be created? Bitcoin. Bitcoin requires X amount of energy units in dollars in order to be created. So you know that the fair dollar value of a Bitcoin is in direct proportion to the energy that it was required to create. Because this goes back to the second law of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. So by injecting fiat, you're injecting false energy into the system. The system is going to reject it naturally because it's outside of natural law. So you're expecting a reaction, you're expecting stimulus, but you're injecting fake energy. And remember, energy, money, is a cumulative of the community, a cumulative of the effort of people. So if you're injecting fake money, what you're doing is you're producing fake energy. During COVID, 25% of all US dollars in circulation were printed. Trillions of dollars. I was doing the calculations. Let's say you make a $15 an hour wage, and I divided that $15 an hour wage by the amount of dollars that were printed. And I realized these motherfuckers printed over 600 billion hours of human labor. Because you can't quantify it in dollars, you need to quantify it on how many hours of labor do those dollars buy. 600 billion. Who's accounting for that? That's 600 billion hours of human labor and energy that were inputted that are fake. Nobody can account for it. But you know what it does? It dilutes your actual work. So today I pay you $10,000 for a consultation. Why, 5 years from now, is it no longer worth the spending power of 10,000? Because they're stealing through inflation. So you need to hold it in an asset class that is finite, that is well respected, that is institutionalized, that you understand how much of it exists, who has it, and how much it costs to produce. In this case, you are able to transfer today's purchasing power into the future, and based off of so far with appreciated return, because Bitcoin only makes higher lows, inside of the Bitcoin asset class. Bitcoin is the greatest store of value ever created in mankind. It might be some glitch in the matrix that they gave us when they realized the fucking fiat system was about to implode. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it's going. But if you ask me where I prefer storing my money, I want to store it in something that I know is real. And Bitcoin is as real as it gets.
That is fair. That is fair. And I think you made a good case for it there as well. And just to finish up on two final questions. One was an interesting one that I just thought of on the way here, which was, me personally, when I was growing up, my mum would try and give me books. And I would always be, reading, readings, who's got time for that? But then as I started to trying to become an entrepreneur and I was joining some classes and masterminds and so on, the same books my mum tried to give me years before were now being recommended to me. So I just put this huge time gap between when I could have progressed and so on. So what I wanted to ask you was, if there was one book that you would recommend to youngsters out there who have that same mentality I had, but that book maybe won't be the thing that changes their life or anything like that, but it's the book that they get that much value from, they see the power in reading and gaining knowledge. What would that book be to you?
We're going to keep it in trading because I think it's really important for the psychology of trading. It's going to be Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. If you want to understand the psychology behind trading, read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, because the mindset that you attract or the mindset that you have within trading will dictate your success 100%. That is the book that I recommend that fundamentally traded and trained and changed the way that I thought about the markets. Game changer.
I've heard that book many, many times. And me personally, my book wouldn't be a trading one. It would be like Think and Grow Rich. And more so because of the determination, the fact that no matter what happens in your life, you just have to keep pushing on, and keep that vision of what you're trying to attain in life.
And the question is, why do you have to keep pushing on? Most people don't ask themselves. Because you're guaranteed the output if you continue. It's very simple. You want to plant seeds, and you're going to expect a tree with fruit. You just have to plant the seeds. You don't have to worry about when the tree is going to flourish, when the fruit's going to come. It's going to do its natural thing, with or without you, whether you get angry, you want to speed it up, just plant the seeds. I agree with you.
Definitely. Time horizons is so important. And to finish up, just because I know we didn't kind of do it actually throughout the podcast, which probably people would be surprised for, so we have to give it to them, which is, what are your plays? What are you keeping an eye on within the crypto space, or just generally as well? Currently, what are you looking at, and what sort of predictions do you have?
So the big thing that I'm looking at right now is just the Ethereum ETF getting approved, getting new institutional liquidity back into ETH, getting the next kind of wind in our sails for the next leg up of the bull run. I think that'll validate the next set of ETFs like Solana. Once we start getting altcoin ETFs, the market is going to become absolutely full of liquidity. It's going to be something that we haven't witnessed before because institutional money is going to pour in. That's the biggest thing I'm looking at. The bull run's just getting started. If you want to play main chains, the best chains to be playing right now are where the attention is: Solana, Ethereum, and TON. TON is the open network. Super invested into that ecosystem, obviously. 900 million users on Telegram. They have the attention. Solana, they own the game when it comes to your fast day trades, when it comes to your flash trading, when it comes to your degen ecosystem. And obviously you have most of the projects that are built on crypto nowadays, they're built on Ethereum. So it's already the monolithic layer. It's the foundational layer of what a lot of people use in crypto. So at a foundational layer, I've been looking at these three asset classes, and inside of that, I'll invest into different projects. But those are the three ecosystems, the three main places that I'm looking. I see a $400 Solana, $8,000 to $10,000 ETH, $25 TON over the next 18 months.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you being here with us today. Everyone at home, make sure you drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from this episode. Make sure you hit subscribe, and until next time, everyone, take care.